Hello, my most amazing artists, and welcome back to art class. For our next project, we are going to be creating a family of penguins, and they're going to be trapped in a blizzard. I have two different examples here, and I'm also going to do a third one with some stars, but what we're going to try and do is we're going to create kind of like a swirly blizzardy background, and then we're going to learn how to draw our penguin family. Now you can see on this example, I drew my penguin family on a piece of white paper, and I ended up cutting it out and gluing it on top of my blizzard background, which I created on a piece of blue construction paper with some crayons. So if you have some colored construction paper and you have a piece of blue, either light blue or dark blue, you can use that for your blizzard background. But for this next example, I'm actually going to do everything on two pieces of white paper, whether you have white drawing paper or notebook paper. Remember, we're using whatever you have. So we are going to create our blizzard background, and then I will show you step by step how to draw our penguin family. Step one of our project is to create our blizzard background. You can see on this example that on my blue construction paper, I took a blue and a white crayon and simply made scribbles and swirls and all sorts of different patterns. But if you do not have a piece of colored construction paper, you can do the same thing on a piece of white with some purples and some blues. So I'm going to start off with a blue-green, and I am going to just scribble it all over my paper, filling it with swirls and things like you would see if we had a really windy, snowy blizzard type of day. And I'm going to use a whole bunch of different types of blues and also some purples to create that really messy, scribbly look. And here is my scribbly blizzard background, which I'm going to put to the side, and my next step is going to be to make my penguins. My next step in my project is to create my penguin family. Before I even start drawing my penguins, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil, and across the middle of my paper, I'm going to make a really big zigzag with different ups and downs to look like a mountain range. This is actually the line that we're going to cut to create our mountains to then glue on top of our blizzard background. And now I can add in my penguins. Now it's up to you how many penguins you want to add. You could add 4, you could even squeeze in 5 if you want, but to help you make the shape of your penguins, I would take your hand and use 2 fingers, put them together, and you can use your fingers to help you with the shape of your penguin. So I'm going to take my 2 fingers, put them on my paper like so, and just simply draw a rainbow shape that goes around my penguins like that. I'm going to fix that a little bit there. And I'm going to do the same thing going down. And depending on how high or low you hold your fingers, you can make some shorter penguins, some baby penguins, or some taller penguins. Now I'm going to close off the bottom of my penguin shapes. And we're going to start adding some of the parts of a penguin. The first thing that we can add to our penguins is we can add their feet. So for their feet, I'm actually going to draw kind of a M shape, but with 2 long lines on each side. So for example, long line, I'm going to draw a letter M, and then bring it back up, and that's a penguin foot. If drawing a letter M is a little bit too challenging for you, you can always count while you draw your lines. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm going to add my penguin's flippers. Now, since my penguins are going to be black, I'm going to add a little smaller rainbow line on each of them. Not too high because I want to save room for drawing the eyes and the beaks, but I'm going to draw their stomachs. Their stomachs are going to be white. And now I'm going to start adding eyes. Now it's up to you how you want to draw these eyes, but we're going to be coloring them in yellow, like the ones that you see here, and then putting the black dot in the middle. And lastly, we need our beaks. Some beaks could be like the penguins looking forward like that. Maybe you have a penguin that's talking, in which case you could draw an open beak. Or maybe sideways, but closed. Or maybe talking the other way. Totally up to you. And the last thing we're going to add is you can just add some snow caps to our mountains. And now our penguins are ready to be colored. To color the penguins is pretty simple. You are going to color the eyes yellow with the black on the inside. The flippers and outside of your penguin are black, and their beaks and their feet are orange. And then you can color the mountains, I would say either a purple color, or in my case, I colored them blue, but make sure you don't color your snow caps. And since our paper is already white, we don't have to worry about coloring any snow. So I'm going to go ahead and color my penguins. Now that I've finished coloring my penguins, you can also see that when I colored the mountains, I made sure to draw a horizon line. A horizon line is a line that separates the land from the sky. And in this case, we have some mountains in between, and that's okay. But my horizon line goes straight across, and I made sure not to go through my penguins. I went to my penguin, hop over, keep going, and every time I hit a penguin, I simply hopped over. And then I was able to color my mountains blue. Now I have my blizzard background up here all ready to be attached to my penguins. And the next step is for me to cut out my penguins along the mountain line. And now I have my penguins separated. I'm going to take my glue stick and I am going to make sure that I put some glue on the back of my picture. When I glue, I want to make sure that I go along the edges of my mountains first, outline it, and then do a quick scribble in the middle so that I can glue it onto my background. Make sure that the bottoms of your papers are touching. Make sure none of your blizzard is peeping out from the bottom. And I'm going to glue my penguins to my blizzard. And here I have my completed penguins in a blizzard. So you have a bunch of different ways that you can do this. If you don't have multiple pieces of paper, you can simply draw it all on one piece of paper and color it in. Just draw it exactly the same way you would do it, except on your background you could do all the scribbles for the blizzard. Also, some options that you have, if you don't want to do your blizzard with crayons and stuff, if you happen to have paint, you could totally paint your paper to make your blizzard. Just do all sorts of different swirls. Or if you happen to have marbles at home, you could put your paper in an extra box with some paint and let the marbles roll around on top of the paper to create a marbled paper. So there's some different options for your blizzards. Then you're going to follow step by step and draw your penguins, cut it out on the mountains, and glue it on, and that's it. That is how you make your penguin family in a blizzard. And don't forget to take a picture of your artwork and send it to me so I can grade it. And I can't wait to see what your penguin families look like. And I'll see you guys again next time for art class. Bye.